I'm exuberant in inverted commas, because I didn't say that. That wasn't me. I am very outgoing. I will literally talk to anyone because I have to. It's my job. Even unconscious people. Love is a strong word. I like it. It's very useful. Do I love it? No. Dark and the quiet. Turn my lights off and edit in the dark. It was nice to have like a three-way. When I do speak to people now, I do hold back significantly. Ask them a question and shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Should I tell them that they don't have a child in that pram? Because what happens if they didn't realise? Are podcasts good for you? That's the question I'm answering today. A bit of a random one, but I was kind of having some like bedtime thoughts, and I was like, I have a podcast and I listen to podcasts, but from both perspectives, from the making and the listening aspect, what are the positives and negatives of both? So I thought I'd talk a little bit about my podcasting journey today and the positives and negatives. Like, should you start a podcast? And you're obviously listening to the podcast, so you obviously think it benefits you. But I would say there are also negatives to listening to podcasts. And I do have a focus in this podcast, Backseat Positivity, about what is good for you, what is bad for you, what are the things we should be doing, what are the things we shouldn't be doing. No shoulds, but what are the things we could be doing to make our lives happier, healthier and better. So, hi guys, welcome back. I'm Dawn. I am a doctor and I also have a podcast and a YouTube channel. So, let's just get into it. Okay, let's talk about let's talk about my podcasting journey, because I feel like this isn't really something you hear. Like, obviously I just sit and talk about stuff. My last one was on Botox. What was my one before that? Something I think about my weight loss journey. Teddy's good for you. We did one on caffeine, overactive bladder, bowels. Bladder and bowels, very popular. Maybe it's a common issue that I just didn't think that was that common and many people aren't talking about it, but those two were very popular. Or maybe people just like to hear about me defecating in my issues with I don't know, people always like stuff about having toilet accidents and like stuff like that, don't they? So those are my kind of episodes, but my podcast has not always been like that. I'd like to point out I am nearly at my 100th episode. Wait there, let me check. Now, there is one episode that I would not classify as an episode because it was literally me being like, I have a cough. I will not be podcasting today. It's 1 minute long. But I felt like you all needed an explanation. So I did do a podcast. So there are 98 episodes. This will be the 99th. This one that I'm recording right now, which is kind of crazy. And then I'll be getting onto my 100th. I'm going to be doing it today because I'm actually going away. But anyway, that's by the by. I actually don't know. By the by. So yeah, nearly 100 episodes. But my podcast has not started as it is now. I changed its name. I didn't restart a new podcast. I was like, no, it's a library of a journey. And I want people to realise that life is a journey. You're not always just going to go, right, my podcast is called Backseat Positivity and I am going to talk about this. No, I was all over the place. Maybe I still am. But I started my journey, right, I was thinking, a little bit crazy, cray. I was thinking, let's go right back to the beginning, nearly 100 episodes ago. That was August 2021. This episode has not loads, but fair amount of downloads, to be fair. What's that one? 70. Oh, people loved the one about being cheated on in relationships. That was a popular one. Okay, so it's called Introduction to My New Podcast. I have not listened to it. It's only 11 minutes long. It's from August 2021. So I published that, and then I waited nearly 3 weeks to publish the next one, and then published that one, the next one after that on the same day. Don't know what happened there. And then the next one after that a few months later. So, and then the next one after that nearly a year later. So then I had some kind of break. I'm trying to think where it was. Oh, it was here. September 25th, 2022. Then I restarted January 9th saying, help, where is this podcast going? So, and then I've been uploading regularly ever since then, January the 9th. So that's pretty impressive this year. So I've been going twice a week. It started at 3 times a week, not gonna lie. Then I was like, no, it's too much, because I was actually daily vlogging at the time, so it's too much. So yeah, although it's nearly 2 years old, this podcast, it's, you know, we started, we stopped. And actually, I think something crazy like 90% of podcasts don't make it past their 7th episode. People think that starting a podcast is like super fun and like I just get to talk and it's like no effort whatsoever. That's not the case, all right? But we'll get into that in a minute. I was thinking, why don't we listen to just maybe the first 30 seconds of introduction to my new podcast, because I kind of want to, not like in a weird way, but like do I sound any different? So I'm going to take I don't know how this is going to sound. I'm going to take the headphones out so I can listen to it too. Oh, actually, anyway, right, let's give this a go. It's kind of weird not being able to hear myself talk. Right, I don't know what this is going to sound like. What is up, guys? I've finally sat down to do my first episode of my podcast, which has taken me probably about a month to sit down and start doing. But there we go. Top procrastinator. So my new podcast is called If Hospital Walls Could Talk. And I guess my first episode is just talking about who I am and my story, and then sort of why I started making a podcast. What is this podcast all about? What do you expect to hear from this podcast, and why should you subscribe? There we go. That's it. That's 30 seconds. That was actually 35. A rogue 35 seconds. I have no idea. I think I just sound a little bit maybe dull. I don't know. I just sound a bit like unconfident. That's what I would say. And yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear. Or maybe you're OG listeners. Maybe you're listening. You've been listening since the first episode. You are cray. You've been listening to me for 2 years. That is insane. Or maybe you go back and listen to all of them. I do have a lot of people that do that. They find my podcast and then they go, I don't know if this is intentional, but they go and download all the previous ones. Not all of them, but like some of them. And then have a listen to some of the old ones as well. So that's nice. That's nice. Anyway, my podcast was doing fairly well on like my podcast streaming website, but then I moved it onto YouTube as well. So I think a lot of people might have moved from listening just on the podcast to listening on YouTube as well. So the statistics on here are a little bit skewed, but I mean, that's not what we're talking about today. But I guess maybe that would bring me into my first point, is that the statistics for a lot of people nowadays are used to seeing videos, especially on YouTube, that have had millions of views, millions and millions and millions. So my podcast at the moment, my top downloaded number is 59 on here, just for one episode. And then on here, like on YouTube, I think it's, I don't know actually. It's something in the like 1 to 200 range. So it's not loads. Like it's not, you know, compared to some of my videos, one of them's at 20k, one of them's at, my next one is probably at like 15k, so which is still not loads compared to like normal YouTube, not normal, but like most YouTube channels. You know, I have a small channel, but anyway, when you then look at the podcast downloads, you're like, wow. For a long time, I was only getting like 1 or 2 downloads per episode, and I kept going through it. God knows how, because that is demoralizing to say the least, just to get like 2 people listening when you're kind of expecting like, I don't want to say that the 2 people that are listening are not worthy, you know, they're not important. But when you think of them as humans, you're like, oh yeah, that's like 2 people that I don't know are listening to me. But when you just think about it as like a number and you look at 2 million on YouTube and then you look at 2 and you're like, cool. So I very much appreciate my listeners. I still don't have loads. Like some podcasts have millions. I don't. I'm not even, you know, I haven't even passed the 1,000 mark on any of my episodes actually. And I'm fine with that, you know. I am noticing though an uptake in podcast numbers recently, in particular. Over the past 2 or 3 months, I would say. I think I'm talking about more like popular things, and then people are going to listen to my old episodes, which thank you very much if you are one of those people, or if you're somebody who's been listening for a while. So yeah, if you wanted to start a podcast, then you started uploading, don't expect it to be an overnight success. Some people might be. Maybe it's just me. I've also gone from like doing doctor content and then not doctor content and then a bit of doctor content again, and then now I'm like settled. I'm like, right, I'm doing like health wellness stuff, as I've, previously mentioned. So I think if you've got clear direction and you've got a popular topic, but I think a lot of people start a podcast off the back of having a YouTube following, and then those people go and listen to their podcast and they can advertise their podcast through that. I don't advertise my podcast whatsoever. I'm just like, maybe I should, but also I'm just like, things will happen. People will start talking to each other, and what I have noticed is people in the same state or whatever, they like maybe tell people, I'm talking about American states, not like mental state or emotional state. People in like one American state, I feel, looking at this, unless they're just re-downloading the episode in the same state, I don't know, but will tell people that we go listen to this, and then somebody else downloads it and it counts as a second download. So it's not all about numbers, and I feel like if you want to start podcasting and you don't want to like be sad about how few numbers there are, then you need to either stop looking at the numbers or accept that they are going to be very, very low for a very long time, 2 years, and only then when you're consistent. And people think that creating content's easy. In some ways, I'd like to point out that having a podcast and podcasting, I can pop out 2 a week. That's 2. Pop out 2 a week with fairly good ease. Whereas my YouTube videos require so much more editing, hours. Whereas with podcasting, I actually have this program, I guess it's like an AI program, and it cuts out the silences for me, which can make it a little bit choppy, but I think it makes it better. I think people want to hear continuous, and sometimes I do have a little break, not like a long break, but a couple of seconds, sometimes 30 seconds, because I'm like looking something up. So it just does all that for me, easy peasy. Then I don't have to, but I started going through and on the YouTube video in particular, because most people will click on it, watch the first 30 seconds and then click off. A lot of people. So what I've started doing is like a coming up section. Just some highlights from the episode. I don't do that on my podcast because I feel like if you started listening, and also it's not that obvious when you're listening to, whereas when there's a video, I put like coming up, and people know that, okay, that's not now, that's like future me. And whereas I could be like coming up in this episode and then do that bit. But anyway, I don't know if it's necessary. The podcasting audience is very different to a YouTube audience. A YouTube audience wants quick, no, I'll move on to the next one. A podcast audience is someone who's gone, I like the sound of that podcast. Maybe they're in the car. Maybe they're doing something, chill. Maybe they're doing some chores. Maybe someone's told them to go listen to it. And that is a completely different audience. You've got I don't want to call it like a slower audience, but an audience that has a slower expectation, an expectation of not just like, bam, 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 this is what's happening in this episode, blah. Like, that's kind of, like, you see that in like a Mr. Beast video, for example. It's like, I jumped off 5 million planes 5 million times, and this is what happened. But to make it even crazier, I'm also going to be doing it on a jet ski. Like, just insane stuff, right? Not all YouTubers are like that, but that was just, I improvised that, guys. Can you believe it? So, anyway, like I was saying, for YouTube videos, they are much, much harder to create. Like, they take me hours. At the moment, I wish I could get one a week out. But the thing is, I don't want to pay somebody to edit them because this is like, whatever. But I don't want to pay somebody to edit them because firstly, I kind of like it, sort of. it's kind of stressful for me because I'm not always sure that it's going to be good until I've made it. And I'm like, or whether I've got enough substance. Because the issue, I don't plan my YouTube videos. I do a bit, but not like so much that I know what's going to happen. And I think that's kind of my problem. And then I'm a bit of a perfectionist, I'm not going to lie. So anyway, but you don't need to hear about my YouTube. If you want to hear about that, comment down below and I will do an episode on doing YouTube videos. But I need specifics. What do you want to know? Like how I edit them, or what it's like having a YouTube channel, that kind of stuff. So if you do want to hear that, or if you have any other topic ideas, like let me know. I'm very amenable. I will happily chat about anything, literally anything, within reason. I probably won't cover things like, no, actually, I'm not putting a limit on it. Whatever. Put it down there, I'll do it. If it's legal, but I'll talk about illegal stuff. I've done episodes on ketamine, so whatever. It is easier, but also less people watch it. I also think you get a stronger audience connection. What I've noticed, I do look at my analytics on my YouTube channel. What I've noticed is it looks like people just sort of put it on and just leave it on. I don't know what happens. I haven't got a camera. I'm not looking. But, this is what I assume just by looking, because it's like a straight line. Like people just put it on and have it in the background maybe. And I am the kind of person that watches a YouTube podcast. Crazy, I know. Some people, I guess, also have YouTube Premium where you can listen to something but not have the video up, which is great, but you have to pay for it, which is fine. Like some people might not mind paying for that, but for me, I had it for a bit and then I was like, why? £15, why? But now I'm just bombarded with adverts. Yeah, it's literally painful. I think they're trying to pain me into getting YouTube Premium because they're like, okay, if we bombard her with unskippable adverts, perfect. Like she'll crack eventually. I think you do get a stronger audience connection. I have had some emails from some people. Thank you very much. I do get some comments and I need to reply to them. I'm so bad. Literally, I have my phone on Do Not Disturb right now because I'm just like, I can't handle all of the notifications I get. It's just painful. And burying my head in the sand once again. I would also say, just in terms of positives from podcasting, from my perspective, I think in one episode I was like, guys, I need to go and get a therapist or something because I used my podcast. It felt like I didn't purposefully do it, but I basically it was the 27 Reasons You're Tired All the Time. If you want to go listen to the first 20 minutes of that, it is me talking about my life. Like it's not even me talking, like it takes me 20 minutes to get into the episode. Like I don't know what happened. I got carried away. Something happened. Who knows? But it was kind of like, and then I listened to it after because, like I said, I rubbed off the whiteboard and I was like, shit, what were the 27 reasons? And I needed to go through them for the next episode. And, well, that was a bad decision, wasn't it? And basically, I listened to it and I was like, fucking hell, Dawn, like, sort your life out. Like, no one's surely going to listen to me talking unless they care, like unless they know me or they've been listening to me for a while and they actually give a shit about what I'm saying, which is probably untrue. Like I get it. Like I have that same issue. I need to know a content creator to actually care about what they're saying. Like I generally don't care about people's lives, and most people don't unless they know them. And you don't know a content creator if you don't know them personally, but you feel like you know them. Hashtag parasocial relationship. I need to stop hashtagging stuff. Like, okay, I know I can't tell you that. So basically, it is like you are talking your mind. Somebody said to me, one of my friends was like, Dawn, I don't know how you monologue for like an hour. I was like, I don't know either. I would love to podcast with people. The problem is I podcast twice a week and I'm also working and I also have doing YouTube videos and stuff. So I'm like, how the fuck am I need a manager to like find me people that are like on my energy level. Some people called me exuberant the other day. I was like, okay, I'll take that. But I can't be having people that are like, I could have people that aren't on my level, but I would find it kind of painful. And also I wouldn't necessarily want to put that on my channel, like somebody being really boring. Sorry, but then I feel like most people that are on a podcast are quite conversational. Like, I feel like nobody's going to agree to come on a podcast, especially if they've listened to my episodes, if they're like, so the square root of 4 is 2. Okay, that was a shit example. But, or like one word answers. Like, what do you think about cats? Great. I love cat. Okay, that was also, I love cat. That was 4 words. So maybe this is a fear that I shouldn't have. But I also feel like I want to have guests, 100%. I'm a very social person, if you didn't notice. I basically talk a fucking lot. I'm exuberant, in inverted commas, because I didn't say that. That wasn't me. I am very outgoing. I will literally talk to anyone because I have to. It's my job. I literally have to talk to even unconscious people. Yeah, I said it. People that don't understand me. People that are confused. Literally, children, everyone. Parents, everyone, people that are deaf, I have to shout at them. People that, don't speak the language line, love it. So, well, love is a strong word. I like it. It's very useful. Do I love it? No. I would rather have a person, this is completely irrelevant, Dawn, shut up. But when you start a sentence, you're like, well, I'll finish it. So we have this thing in language, in hospital, when somebody doesn't speak English fluently, you can basically get a translator on the phone. But the issue is, sometimes it's a little bit awkward because you have to like wait for them to translate, and it just takes forever, basically. But if you had somebody there, anyway, I've had some very difficult conversations with Language Line, but I love them. No, I said it again, I like them. So I am a very social person, and I love chatting. I love it. But I do get tired eventually, trust me. It happens. I get tired. After talking for an hour and a half is probably my limit where I can talk continuously. And then I get tired. I need a little break. But by that point, I've done a few episodes and I can just sit and edit them in the dark and the quiet. I turn my lights off and edit in the dark. So, yeah, I do want to get some guests on. It's not easy, though. I have had people approach me. I've had a couple. The main issue is they are abroad. I have had a few people on my podcast, actually. I've had Izzy, one of my friends from school. I've had Sophie, one of my friends from university. In the cheating episode, she was only in 1. She was scared, but also very good. And then I've had, what was his name? Was it Johnny? I want to say it was Johnny. He was in Slow the Fuck Down with Izzy as well. That was a good one. It was nice to have like a three-way. It was nice to have a three-way conversation. So I would love to chat to people and get their perspectives. My issue is I am a little bit impatient, and when I take a history from somebody in hospital, I am sort of on a time limit. I can't just sit and talk to them forever. And also when they don't get to the point, I'm like, so I do interrupt people. It is a problem in real life as well. I call it hospital life and real life. When I watch myself back, which is obviously very common, like I watch myself back, it isn't a problem anymore, but I watch myself back and I'm like, oh God, Dawn, shut up. So I am, when I do speak to people now, I do hold back significantly. Ask them a question and shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. Just shut up. Shut up. I also think I learn a lot from doing these episodes. Not only a lot about myself, but, wait there. I want to do my weird thought because I always forget. Guys, I feel like I always forget also to say in the middle of the episode, guys, because I wait to the end, right? No, I don't think anybody does it. Like some people do, to be fair. You guys do like the videos. Thank you very much. But if you're not subscribed already, then go ahead and subscribe. That was click, subscribe. And also like it, because that would be super nice and it would make me feel good about myself. What am I doing? Weird thoughts. I have a weird thought. Okay. This one's quite funny because I actually forgot what it was. So there was a segment on my podcast, that was called Weird Thoughts. You try and make your podcast a little bit different, right? I just like bringing in a weird thought. And today my weird thought is, why do people push empty prams around? I saw one the other day. I think I was walking home from work. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why? Have they forgotten their baby? Like, where is their baby? Sometimes I see people pushing prams around when they go shopping. And I'm like, vibes. Like, I would totally do that. It's an easy way to bring your food home, right? It's wheels, easy. But then I thought about it, and I think I figured out the reason why people push empty prams around. Because for ages I was like, where are their children? Sometimes I've thought in my head, I've been like, should I tell them that they don't have a child in that pram? Because what happens if they didn't realise? Like, this is a genuine thought in my head. I don't think I've ever said, do you realise there's no baby in there? Have you left them somewhere? Because it happened on Friends, so it probably happens in real life. So anyway, then I realised what was probably happening was that in the morning, they'd walked with the pram, with a child in it, to preschool, whatever you want to call it, nursery, we call it here, kindergarten, that thing. And then they drop their kid off. They're probably not allowed to leave the prams there, so they take it home. Either I'm seeing them on the trip home, or I'm seeing them on the trip to go and pick the child up again. And then it all made sense. For years I've thought, why are they wheeling around empty prams? These ladies, what are they up to? And then it hit me. It dawned on Dawn. Okay, it dawned on Dawn. And I was like, I got so into that I didn't realise the camera went off. I was mind blown. So anyway, that's my weird thought. Kind of enjoyed that one. So that is an example of me learning. So yeah, I do learn stuff doing these. I learn about, what did I learn about? I think I do know a lot of like some of the stuff we talk about anyway, but let's say in particular, vitamin gummies, an episode I did a few episodes back now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes back in October. Now, it was basically about, are they good for you, or are they like sugary little gums that we don't need? And one thing I did learn in particular was that they don't necessarily have the same amount of vitamin in them, same as tablets, right? Tablets are a bit more controlled, but also they degrade. So, and also, I'm just telling you the whole fucking crux of the episode here right now, but also, what I learned in particular was, I was always like, why is this 2,000% of my recommended daily allowance RDA? It makes no sense, right? Give me 50% or 100%. Why are you giving me 2,000%? It doesn't make any sense. You're just going to overdose me because I'm going to eat fruits and vegetables as well, and nuts and shit like that, right? So if you're giving me a multivitamin that's got 2,000%, right? I've just repeated that 3 times. So then I was like, I looked it up, right? Googled it. Duh. And it basically said that you just don't absorb all of that. By the time it's reached the parts that it needs to reach, by the time it's been like chewed up and it's also degraded over time, it probably isn't, it isn't 2,000%. And I was like, oh my God. So anyway, that was something I didn't get. I've got another weird thought. I'm just going to write it down before I forget, because these weird thoughts, they honestly fly in and out of my head like fruit flies. That was the shittest analogy ever. They fly in and out of my head like rack spurts, if you know what that is. Vibes. So I also think you do end up helping people having a podcast. I hope so anyway. I think people find it informative. I hope people find it fun. And also, you feel heard. I don't know if that's necessarily a positive or, well, it is, but like whether that should be a positive. But some people like feeling heard. Some people like just making content and being creative, and I guess that's me as well. But you like to feel, some kind of satisfaction, some kind of like, oh yeah, people listened to me and it helped them, and I felt heard, and I felt like I helped someone's life a little bit. Woo! Let's go on to the negatives, because there definitely are some. I think one that I haven't actually written down, but one is that you have to go back and listen to yourself, which is probably the most awkward thing you could ever do when you start listening to yourself. I remember the first time I ever did it was in school, and I don't know why, but I was like, I recorded myself in like the music studio, but I don't know why, I can't remember. And it was honestly the worst thing I've ever had to experience. I was like, ooh, it made me cringe so hard. But that dissipates over time. If you can get over that, if you can get over just watching yourself on camera, listening to yourself talk, perfect. I think also some people can't have like a continuous monologue of speech, but that's just practice, my friends. You don't need to worry about that. Also, you do have to buy equipment. It's not that expensive, but like it is. You know, if you weren't anticipating that. Number one, most podcasts do record now. You could buy a camera, like one of those little... I would actually, if I were going to buy a camera now for my podcast, I really want one of those ones that's just like a video recorder, because the issue with this is that it goes off every half an hour and I can't charge it whilst I'm recording, so that's fucking annoying. So sometimes the batteries have died, but I figured that problem out now, and I don't know how that took me so long to figure out. But yeah, basically I have a normal DSLR camera. Normal? I don't know if that's normal, but basically then I have my microphone. I think this cost a couple of £100, I'm not going to lie. With the boom arm, you need a boom arm if you've got... Actually, no, this microphone does have a little stand. And then you need... The pop filter came with it, I think. Did it? I don't know. Then I've got some headphones. You don't have to have headphones. I personally prefer to know what I sound like. A lot of people do. You see a lot of people with headphones on. And for a long time, I didn't wear them. And now I'm like, oh, this is weird if I don't have them on. So I do prefer it. You obviously need a computer. This one's a USB microphone, so you don't need one of those podcasting boxes. But if you get... This is the Rode NT USB. It's actually a condenser microphone. It's not perfect for podcasting, but it was a USB one. And I was like, I don't want to have to get one of those podcasting boxes. But, you know, if I had the budget, I probably would have done. But I'm happy with this for now. I think my only issue is that when I sit right in front of it, I have to kind of sit to the side, because otherwise you can't see my mouth, and that's kind of annoying. So, and then I've got lights. You need lights. Unless you live in a really like nicely lit place. I mean, it's fucking gloomy outside right now. If I turned the light off, which I won't, like it would look awful in here. So I have a light. They're not that expensive. You can buy one quite cheaply. But I like having the kind of white light, not the orangey light. And then you need to sit down and plan the episodes. Like, people just think you start talking and that's it. No, plan. I've planned it. It might not seem like it, but I have. Plot twist. I have actually planned it. So I do go off on some tangents, but they are unplanned. They're just like, oh, this has come into my head. I'm just going to talk about it. So I do find that kind of hard, like to not go off on a tangent. But then I'm like, well, you're listening. We're all friends here. Let's just do it. I'm sure people make money from podcasting. In fact, they definitely do. Let's have a look on my YouTube channel right now, because that's the only place I make money from my podcast for AdSense, and that is it. And I don't make any money from putting it on my podcasting website. So nobody also donates me any money. There's nothing in it for me. I actually pay money to upload. Yeah. How much do I pay? I think it's about... I want to say like close to £30 a month. That's because I have, how many hours do I upload? My allowance is, I have an allowance, sound like a child. Which one am I on? So basically you can start for free, but then they're only hosted the episodes for 90 days and then they get deleted. So why would you do that? What am I on? Oh, I think I'm on this one. $18 a month. I upload 6 hours each month, but then I have... Wait, no, maybe I'm on this one. Or... I actually don't know. No, I am on this one. I'm on this one. $18 a month, and then I can upload 6 hours each month, which I fill easily. And then every hour after that is $3. And then I have something called Co-Host AI, which basically does the transcript for me. I used to use something called Otter AI. I'm not going through and transcribing that whole fucking thing. You can absolutely believe that I will not sit there and do that. I actually do use AI in some of my stuff, mainly transcribing my podcast episodes, because can you imagine? This is now 38 minutes. I couldn't. Drive me insane. It would also add on so much time. And there are literally transcription softwares for it. So I pay an extra $20 a month for that. It does the description. It offers me titles. It also does like blog posts and social media posts, but I don't use that, and I should, but I don't. So anyway, what I was going to tell you is how much I get paid for. There's something wrong with my YouTube Studio. I'll have a look. Okay, it's bad. It's really bad. Like, it's not, it's not even £1. Estimated revenue for the past 28 days is 69 pence. Like, I actually thought it was going to be more than that, so that's kind of sad. But it doesn't bother me. Like, obviously I keep uploading, so something's going well. And I feel like if you're just in it for the money, guys, then it's not going to happen, unless you have a really big following already. So yes, I am paying to upload to you. So that's not me being like, give me money, bitch, but I'm just pointing it out. And there's also going to be people that don't like it or hate it or give you hate comments. I've never had a hate comment on my podcast. It's going well so far. But I have had hate comments on my YouTube channel. They do bother me a little bit, like depends what it says, but not for that long. And then I'm just like, okay, you went there. Why? Why did you go there? And anyway, I don't really want to give them the time of day and be talking about, be talking about haters, because I don't think, unfortunately, they deserve that time. But I haven't had many podcast haters yet. Will they come? Abso-fucking-lutely. Am I waiting for them? Not yet, but I'm expecting. I'm waiting. No, I said I'm not waiting. I'm expecting. It's going to happen. But the thing is, you expect that when you put things online. It is kind of sad that people feel the need to go and do that, but I don't think I've ever left a nasty comment, like, not that I remember anyway. At least not in the last, 10 years. Someone's going to find something now, aren't they? I think another negative is sometimes the equipment does fail, and it's kind of like, fuck's sake. Like, great. I am very fortunate at the moment that my laptop hasn't broken. I've got a computer screen. I've got my microphone still going. My camera's still going. My microphone is breaking, that one up there. I have two. Whoa, I know, right? But the thing is, you need the camera to have... this is so pointless, but you need the camera to be picking up the audio so that you can sync the two audios, because I'm not using the audio from that mic. It doesn't sound any good. So, and this is not connected to the camera. I wish it was, but it's not. But anyway, I think, do you know what? I was going to do this in one episode, and then I'm like, wow, it's 40 minutes already. No, let's do another one. So I think I'm going to end this one here, and I'm going to literally do the next episode right now. I'm actually, because I'm going away to Edinburgh, I am doing a little series of podcast now, so that I've got them all set up. I'm all ready to go, and I don't have to think about it for a couple of weeks. So yeah, I'll do the listening part next. I'm so sorry if you waited for that whole time. But anyway, I do love you though. Thank you for listening if you did. So thanks so much for listening. As I said earlier, like, subscribe, do the shit that I asked earlier. And that would really be great. And I upload every Monday and Thursdays. And if you're thinking about doing a podcast, then those are the positives and negatives. I think I did. Did I do an episode on that before? I think I did one on being a content creator, but I don't think I did one specifically on podcasting, but I really can't remember, to be quite honest. We're at nearly 100 episodes, guys. What are we going to do? All right. Thanks so much for listening, and I'll see you in literally 5 seconds, but in a couple of days for you. Bye.